There are so many different ways to paint watercolor trees, and they all look really simple, but if you've tried it, you know they're not. Hi, I'm Margaret with Sacramento Art Classes, and the other day I was messing around and doodling in my watercolor sketchbook, and I kind of figured out this way that works really well for me to paint leafy boughs. I shared it with a couple students and they agree, so now I'm making this video for you. Hopefully it will help you, and if you stick around until the end of the video, I want to tell you about another free video that I made which will help you with controlling your paint and your water in your paintings. Plus I have a free supply list. So stick around and I'll tell you all about it, but let's get started today. Okay, let's get started. You're going to need 2 or 3 different colors of green, and I've arranged them from lightest to kind of a mid-range and more of a dark shadowy green. I got my paper. I have a couple different brushes. I have an 8 and a 12 round right now, water, and a Kleenex. Definitely need a Kleenex or a sponge for blotting on this. I'm going to be using the number 8 just because I like it, but it's easier to show you on this big brush that when you're doing this technique, you want to have the belly, the fattest part of the brush, touching the paper. I know we usually like to paint on the point. We're not going to do that today, so if you go up on the point, you'll struggle. But if you can hold your brush flat, horizontal to the table like this with your hand over the top, so that as you drag and push the brush around, the fat belly part versus the pointy tip is what's going to be hitting the paper. Okay, so let's give it a try. It's a little tricky, but once you get the hang of it, you will be okay. And you'll probably see me make a few mistakes, which is a good thing, so that you know what to expect and how to fix it. All right, my brush is a little bit wet. I just took it out of the rinse water here. So I'm going to take some of that extra water off, and I want to start with my lightest color. And if I were to just use this right now, I'll do it over here on the side. Oh, look, it's going to work out just perfectly for us. Sometimes I'll get something like this. Let me make a mistake on purpose. I'll get a lot of paint. We don't want that. That's too much. So this is why you have your Kleenex. Take a little of the extra paint off, and imagine that you have a target right here in the middle. You're going to be using your brush to push away from the target, like that's the middle of the sun, and these are the rays of the sun. So as it comes closest to you, you're going to be pulling it away from that center, and when you get around the sides and the top, you're going to be pushing it away from the center. Okay, hope that makes sense. So let's try it out. I got my brush. Here we go. I'm making a green leafy bough, and once again, sometimes we don't have quite enough paint on. So here we go, pushing away from the center. Doesn't look like much yet, but what I'm wanting from you, or for you, is for you to have this real rough edge. Can you see how it's very organic, uncontrolled, just loose and almost lacy edge around it? That is what I want. Okay, so this is going to be one of our boughs. I'll do us another one over here to give this one a chance to dry. So again, maybe take a little paint off. Let's make one slightly different size and shape. And if they overlap a little bit, it's okay. So right here, I'm pulling towards me and then pushing to the left and up. So always away from that target in the middle. Okay, we'll do one more real quick. And I'm using the lightest green first. I always like to start with my lighter colors. And how about this guy? Okay, pushing away from me. Sometimes you got to get a little more paint on. There we go. Pushing out to the sides. Always, if you just keep it in your mind, always go away from that center or that target middle. And you can enlarge it maybe as you go if you want a slightly bigger bough. Okay, so there we've done our first color. I'm going to go ahead and rinse, take off some of my extra, and then I want to go into that mid-range color. I don't want to cover up all the green that I just laid down, right? Because that's my highlight. That's where sun is hitting. So I'm still coming from that central middle place, but I am on purpose leaving some of that light green showing, especially up at the top as I build out this color. And let's go to the next one. It is a really good practice for you to let these dry in between. You'll have more success. And of course, since we're doing a live video here, I didn't have time to let them dry. But it's really hot in my room here in the studio, so maybe I'll be okay. So there's 3. I'm not in love with that very first one, but we're just going to live with that. Okay, so this is drying. And while it's drying a little bit, I want to remind you, if you will stay to the end of this video, I'll tell you a little bit more about my free bonuses and how you can get them. So hang in there and we will wait for that one. Okay, so I took extra water off. Now I'm getting my darkest color. And here, again, I really am trying to save some of those other colors I laid on there. So I'm just randomly putting this. Maybe I'll keep it down a little bit on the lower side. Maybe only, how is that? I like that. Maybe only letting it kind of be down here. And how about, just for fun, one more leafy bough that's down here at the lower part of the tree. I didn't add any light on this one because I just want you to see what it looks like without that. And plus this will be maybe some of the lower parts of the tree where it might not be catching as much sunlight. All right, so we have some very rough edges, right? And then those are your boughs. If you want to feel complete with this video, you might like it if I give you a trunk and some branches. So I like to start with maybe a trunk first, kind of down in here, a few branches leading up. Maybe they dive in behind the trees. You don't see everything, but now you got a tree shape. If you take a little water across the bottom and get it wet while your trunk is still wet, it's instantly planted on the bottom of the page, and there's your tree. So, free video, free supply list. Comment supply in, if you're watching this on Facebook, comment supply, and you'll get into the, you'll, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Comment supply and I'll get the video and the supply list to you. If you're watching this somewhere like YouTube, I'll have everything in the description for you. You just need to click the link. So thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.